Hello, this is Paul Palmer, and
Natasha Todorvik Cowan. How are you doing today, Paul?
I'm good, Natasha. How are you?
I am doing well. I looks like teams are on your mind.
They are teams and team building. I've been doing quite a lot of work recently with companies that are struggling to get the alignment. They find that the team members are focused a bit too much on their own agenda rather than rather than what's needed for the business. They're a bit too, well, I'm in QC, so we have to focus on analytical testing, and that's the most important thing of all.
Yeah.
And operation, oh no, goods in is the most important thing of all. We've got to make sure we get it in fast as possible. Oh no, we've got to make sure the ones that are finished packaging get processed quickly so they can get them onto the shelves, but not at the expense of everybody else.
Well, that's why we use our assessments. When we use our assessments, we can tell who is more individualistic and me-centered and who is more collectively oriented and we-centered.
Yeah.
And we use different strategies and approaches depending on the proportion and the number in the team, because you're right, having that collaboration is absolutely critical to having things work well. I was chatting with the CEO the other day who was talking about, how much slower things get when you get a team together. So he was splitting a project out amongst, 2 and 3 people rather than the whole team, because his experience is it just gets slower. And it's slower because those individuals don't know how to work together collaboratively. So you're totally on track.
That's interesting because I've worked with a team of 28 people, and the only way we made fast progress was when we met together. But I suppose but the whole team was quite strongly focused on where we needed to get to, and I was actually leading the team at the time, so I told them where we were going anyway.
Well, and that's part of it, right? For a team to cohere, people have to know one another and understand their strengths and weaknesses and how they play together. They've got to be able to conflict in effective and productive ways. And if they get into conflict and they deal with conflict poorly, that creates rifts, which collapse people into themselves so they don't collaborate. And so it's really, you have to be thoughtful about the way people tackle problems together so that they can bring out the best ideas without crushing others in the process. And we're not great at that as humans yet.
Doesn't it depend on what you're doing as well, though?
Well, it depends on the skills, it depends on the talents, it depends on who the people are together. That's why I call it relationship systems. You have to have a systems awareness of the relationships that are happening between team members, team leader, and also the work to be done.
Yeah, I find that the work to be done, if it's biased towards one specific team, they tend to take the lead. And then if you've got a lead and follow approach, then you do get more of the conflict rather than working together on a topic that's independent of the team members. And maybe that's what the CEO was seeing, that too many times, if there was one dominant department for a specific project, then breaking it out into small bits, then that particular department working as a 2 or a 3 could push their bit forward and the other people could push theirs. But it's really hard to run a project like that.
Yeah. Yep.
It might be slow when they're together, but once they're apart,
yeah,
nothing goes anywhere. I'm running a project at the moment for do you know Just University, Jordan University.
mm-hmm.
So we've got a team of 8, 9, I think it's 10 now. We just had a new guest lecturer join us, and we're launching a diploma, pharmaceutical diploma for new graduates. But the part of the problem that we're having is we meet on a Thursday morning. Okay, so we meet, but it's only, we're getting too much misinformation in the team. And we need to drive it and need to push it forwards all the time. But because we only meet once a week, we only push it once a week. And I think we need to do it more often.
Maybe. And, here's the sad sort of fact of things, that only 10% of teams are high performing. Mm-hmm. And it's tougher when they have to work remotely. But we've developed a process where remote teams, the remote teams that we've worked with are 3 times more likely to cohere into high performing teams. So I mean, there's so many factors that you've got to take into account. What's the work to be done? Who are the team members? How are they relating to one another? Who's the leader? What are the messages that the organization is sending? Are those messages conflicting? Do they know if they're on track or not? How are they dealing with conflict? Do they have trust? Do they know one another's capabilities? How committed are they to this? Do they know what the outcomes are? All of those pieces are really critical.
Well, the team I'm thinking of, we all know where we're going. We're all committed to getting the course delivered and launched in time. It's just, I don't know, some of the things are not going as quickly as I want them to. That's all, I suppose.
Well, and sometimes it's a conversation around, is it not going quickly because the team members are in conflict, or they're dragging their heels, or they don't understand it? Or is it simply that we are underestimating the amount of time that a certain piece of work takes?
I think it's partly because we've got external factors as well, not just the team. Okay. Let's finish it there for today.
What are the factors that get
I know, it's getting quite philosophical. Okay, let's talk about this again to Natasha. It's Paul Palmer and
Natasha Todorovic-Cowan signing out.
And talk to you soon.